Hello, this is Ash Cheater with Lost Coast Populist News, reading between the headlines podcast. Awake, not woke. Opinions are not facts. Make up your own mind. Well, here we are on the LCP website, and there are a couple new things going on. We are now aggregating Caltrans content as well as the Humboldt County Sheriff's content. Additionally, there is content from the St. Mark's Church of Ferndale. And that is along with all of the existing content that you may be familiar with. But that's lostcoastpopulist.com. But anyways, for now, we're going to jump right into our local news segment. Okay, and here we go. First up, we have something going down at Cal Poly Humboldt, or HSU, whichever you remember it as. This is from the Lumberjack. We'll go to that first because it's their in-house newspaper. Give them a little bit of something to say. There's some quotes from some of the people who were there. This is Hansen. We want to know what's going to happen to our housing, what's going to happen to our community, and what's going to happen to Humboldt. Then Julia Kurtz. I can't fathom why you guys are accepting this many students when you can't support them. And she also questioned the logic of reserving the on-campus housing for freshmen and incoming transfers. Then Kurtz also said, if you're proud enough to put the current students in that housing, you should be proud enough to put new students in that housing, meaning the hotels and stuff that they're shipping them out to. And we had Donnie Creekmore on site, and he did a great job covering the protest that the students were putting on here. As you can see, this is the article, including the videos and many pictures that he took. And let's see, it says proposed Cal Poly alumni exclusive housing. So they're proposing that the existing students go and stay at the Comfort Inn, the Motel 6, and Super 8. Each motel provides about 100 beds in various conditions. Located dab smack in an area of Humboldt County known for its high crime rate and relative danger. The students are indeed being moved to an area responsible for making Humboldt County one of the most dangerous places to live in California. And if you go to the site, you can click on this right here, see how it's hyperlinked, and that will take you to a supporting article talking about the dangers of Humboldt County. But here we go. We have a handy-dandy little map showing where the motels are, where Cal Poly Humboldt is. And it's about 2,000 or more students are expected to return, and many students who call the campus home are livid. Cal Poly students, they held a protest to fight back against the board's decision and its implications when considering their ongoing housing crisis in Arcata. Over 500 students assembled in the campus quad to protest, and many holding signs lamenting their frustration with the current situation. Most seeing no real solution, but to fight like hell. But now we are going to take a look at some of the videos that Donnie captured there. First off, we're going to have a one-on-one interview with a student that was impacted by this, and after that, it's going to be kind of longer wander through the crowds and coverage of some of the speakers that were going on there. So we will switch to that, and we will be right back with more local news here.
Go. All right, I'm here with Jackson at Cal Poly at the protest. It sounds to me like they're making some policy decisions that might affect where you live. You want to tell me a little bit about why you're here and why you're passionate about this?
Yeah, so I'm a freshman here. I just started off, and it's been pretty great. I mean, they gave us a lot of new things. It's a lot of new just opportunities for us, and we just found out recently that all the housing next year for all levels is going to be given to freshmen. So our only option is to move off campus. Wow. And the only options we've been given are just like some lower hotels, Motel 6, a Super 8, I think that was the Comfort Inn. And I mean, they did some reviews on those, but it's like, it almost seems automated, the reviews they got, because those were not the stories that like matched up to the kids that are there now. So I mean, it's just a big impact on us, because like, where are we going to live? Housing here is pretty hard. I mean, this is an old town. Nothing's new.
Right.
It's hard to find something new.
Are you concerned about, crime is obviously a problem in Humboldt County, and you guys are relatively safe when you're living on campus. You have security and all that kind of stuff. You guys are kept well protected here. Are you concerned about your safety, being that these hotels are literally located in the highest crime areas of Humboldt County?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be a little concerned, if anything, I'd always, no matter where you are. But I mean, just being out there in those areas, I mean, it's bound to happen. I mean, they're known, those Motel 6s, like, we've gotten reviews just read by parents that have stayed there, and they'll tell you it's like literally one step up from Skid Row. Like, I mean, they see the worst there while they're there, so it's just, that's not a place that we'd want to live at.
Are you born and raised Humboldt County, or did you transfer here for college?
I'm a freshman. I came from Southern California, from Indio, California.
Very cool. What are you studying here?
Forestry.
Forestry, very cool. So you definitely came to the right place for that.
Yeah.
And we definitely need as many good foresters as we can out there. I don't know if that's the right term, forester?
Yeah, forester.
All right, cool, great. So that wouldn't sound like a complete goof.
Yeah.
All right, Jackson, is there a past being, coming to the protests? Are you organizing? Are you doing anything additionally? Or are you kind of here to support?
I'm just here to support. I mean,
nice.
There's been a lot of people that have organized it, and they kind of taken the role, obviously, up there talking, getting the speakers and things like that. So, I mean, everybody here is just kind of here to support.
Right.
It's our future. It's their future. It affects everybody that's here or not here, even living off campus.
So I'm Donnie Creekmore. I'm from Lost Coast Populist. We take a populist perspective on everything. How do you feel about these decisions basically being decided from kind of a top-down, the board of directors make a decision and wabu bibu, they throw it up on the internet, and they're, I hope you catch the memo. How do you feel about that top-down kind of take to this whole situation?
I mean, especially with this one, it's just hard because it's such a short notice that we've gotten. Like, our housing registration, I think, just opened up the other day. And we kind of found out just a week before then about really what we were expecting.
Oh my God!
And I mean, when you're going to college, you kind of expect everybody's able to live on campus. Yes, it is tough here, but it should not be all freshmen get the new housing.
Right.
Even as a freshman, I think it's baloney.
That's huge of you. That's huge. A lot of people will be like, hey, business is business. Sorry about the other people.
Yeah,
so that's good on you.
You can't just have it's just unfair.
Yeah.
I mean, I know here, especially at this school, there's a lot of grad students. Just people take longer at this school. It's a lot of STEM students. It takes longer. People need to be on campus longer.
Do you think that there's a connection between this occurrence and, the pressure to build housing in Arcata, the pressure to build housing in Eureka? Does it seem like it's kind of a coordinated thing where the one kind of predicates the other? Like, all of a sudden we've got these students that need a place to live. We should probably build them low-income housing and get them out of these cheap hotels located in dangerous areas. Do you see the?
Yeah, I could see that resembling it. I mean, I'm not too sure about that. I haven't looked into that at all in any ways, but that could be a driving reason.
Right.
I mean, this area is old. Nothing here is new.
Yeah.
Like, you will never find a newly built house in Arcata or Eureka. It's
true.
Just that's insane to come by.
Very true. Especially the price of 2x4s these days.
Yeah, it's insane. So, I mean, that could be coordinated in.
Yeah. Totally. Well, it was Jackson, right?
Yes.
Jackson, hey, I appreciate you talking to me, brother. If there's anything else you want to say, you want to shout out your social media where people can find you, or anything else you want to say?
I'm good.
Yeah, all right, cool, brother.
You
can find this interview at lostcoastpopulist.com and also at LOCO Populist on YouTube. And, hey, I really appreciate you, Jackson.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
All right, good looking around for the people.
Thank you.
Cheers.
We're that way, it would be great. Show them what we can do. This will be fucking hot, I think.
Hi again. So I realized that it's been an hour and a half of all this just standing out here. Amazing, by the way. But we haven't talked about our demands, and so I'm going to bring out one of our overseers. Lars, can you come up here? here and they're over here. So we split into different factions. Lars is going to talk about that.
Hi, everybody. Hi. So we didn't mention our demands yet, and that's really why we're all here, is what do we want out of this? And I'm going to just list them off. Number one, transparency in school and housing decisions. Yeah. That's number one. We need to know what happens before it's going on. We can't learn about it on the website randomly one night before bed. Number two, ensure all housing, both on and off campus, has been adequately met with safety requirements. Number three, decent and accessible transportation policies. Number four, increase amenities offered by off-campus sites and lower costs to reflect the quality. And finally, number five, ensure the cleanliness, health, and accessibility in all housing run by the school, both on and off campus. I want to emphasize how the accessibility just needs to be maintained. It needs to be, there's railings on this campus that end halfway down the stairs. There's mold growing in our homes. Well, not homes anymore. I have to stop saying that because it's not our home anymore. The place where I sleep, for now. Yeah. But those are our demands, and those are what we're trying to fight for. And those are what we're going to stand here until we get.
That took me in when I needed it. So, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a personal story. I do want to give a content warning that I will mention eating disorders. So, in high school, I lived in a small Republican town, and I was a raging leftist trying to voice my opinion and change the world. And that was really hard, and we went to high school together. And that was really awesome, and that's why I think this community is so cool, because this is so empowering to see people that are on the same page, fighting for the same cause. Like, look, turn around and look at everyone out there. Like, I just turned around there. That's awesome. So I started my club for activism, and that was super cool, but it caused a rift between me and my parents, who were the Republicans in the town. And they ended up kicking me out 2 weeks before I came here. And her parents and her family and my friends from high school brought me up here and introduced me to this community where I found home for the first time. I'm living with my community right now, my 4 other roommates in College Creek, and they have helped me tremendously find home, find community, they're my support. And also, throughout all this, my mental health was not doing so hot. So I had an eating disorder. Not the best way of coping, but we deal. And I have been able to have a kitchen, which has been awesome. And we're not going to get kitchens if we're in a hotel. I also want to mention that I am a low-income, first-generation student to drive here all the time. There's a snowball of issues and we're all mad about it. And I love the energy out here, and I also want to encourage you all not only to follow all the action items that have been spread around, which I love, great organizing, but also to email the CSU chancellors, the board of trustees. They are the problem. I was told on Monday at the meeting in the SAC that there is not a contract signed with a single hotel at this point. There is, obviously, the Comfort Inn had a contract signed for this year, but it has not been renewed. Nothing has been signed. We can change this. So thank you all, and shout out to my bestie for taking me in.
You're good, bro. You're good. You're not the shot.
I really want to point.
I appreciate you, though.
Point this energy because this
I'm like the Zoom hella faster. You can hang out.
powerful manifestation of dissatisfaction with the actions of our institution. And so I implore every single one of you to make your voices heard and to make sure that you get what you deserve. Thank you.
Do you guys live on campus?
No, we don't actually. We're just here to support
Yeah, me too.
the rest of our student body.
I'm trying to get an interview with somebody who lives on here that's like directly impacted.
Yeah, that would be dope. I'm sure there's a lot of them here.
Yeah, I've been asking. I just been keep striking out.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
Grab someone with a sign.
yeah, probably. Yeah, good looking, good looking.
Or someone who brought a 10. You know they brought for a reason. This is when I bought my truck. September 23rd. Look how much of clear coat was on it back then. What's that? Oh yeah, I was enrolled here.
Motivated, I came here for. This is the community that I love. I love you guys. I love some of you individually, but I love all of us as a whole. Unfortunately, I know also well that love cannot save. Love cannot cure homelessness.
I actually haven't.
I want to speak on some sensitive.
I thought it was important to show visibility of that. What happens to people that are upperclassmen that have disabilities, that have issues with transportation? I had to crunch my way upstairs to get here from Creekview dorms, through the forest that led to the dorms all the way, because I only instinctually know this path. And going up those stairs, especially the really long ones, I just thought of the importance of just them seeing not only are there students who have issues getting around, but how can we promise security to people of color, especially Black folks, I'm a black trans woman. So, being homeless and the idea as a black trans woman having to fight discrimination with finding housing off campus, just renting a room, having to go on Craigslist and hoping that they don't identify me to discriminate me. There's all these variables that run through my head. Thinking about like if I don't get a slot next year, because right now I am homeless and I'm being helped out by friends, and I appreciate that, but the idea of me already worrying about covering the yearly cost next year, and that not even being the only battle that I might have to just search for something now, and it's just baffling. And the fact that the president is a person of color, and honestly, the term I call him is a raccoon. Don't say the word if you're not black, but I'm gonna say raccoon since we're in mixed community. There's a protest next Wednesday that I'm organizing meeting. It's so funny, but I didn't really care to really give that out. But it's pretty much, I'm one of the local activists here that led monthly protests last year. This is due to the severity I'm having this list. Because this is something that's affecting everyone, it's affecting people in my community and other folks that I share with. So, from 4:30 to 5:45, it's the protest next week at the plaza, Arcata Plaza. I want to see y'all here. I don't want you to burn the fuck out. You have to keep your foot on their fucking neck to expect something to happen. We repeatedly show that we give a fuck. So I expect to see at least a fraction of y'all, especially white folks, there. So if your schedule is open, we're able to make it even just to the student part. I want y'all there. Okay, we're gonna keep these fucking white doors because they're not gonna change their minds when they have money and something. They're thinking with their capitalist mind right now. One purpose is not fucking enough. So let's keep this fucking going. Okay?
Hi, my name is Tony. My pronouns are he, they. I am a third year liberal arts major. And then, where am I gonna go? And I have disabilities, but because they're invisible, they're not going to be prioritized when it comes to housing. I was in the disability office the other day, and there were so many people that were coming in, and they were just heartbroken. And there was nothing that the disability office could do for them because they just learned about this. A lot of the people working there are students too, and they are heartbroken for us. They want to help. And I'm just so tired of this school holding us hostage with our tuition.
Okay, well that is super great, and yeah, it gets a real insight into what's going on up there and some of the things that some of these students have to contend with. Another thing that came up slightly after this is this right here. Cal Poly Humboldt is exploring the idea of housing students in a huge-ass barge in the Humboldt Bay. Just look at that thing, and what could go wrong there? Just imagine, I don't know if you remember, if you were a college student at one time, party time and party on a barge, what could go wrong there? Huh? You never know, and hopefully not, though. Hopefully people are responsible if that is something that does come to pass. But moving on, we have Humboldt County is one of the most dangerous places in California, and this is the supporting article that I believe was in the LOCO piece that Donnie wrote covering that. And this just goes through the cannabis industry and lots of other things that make it one of the most dangerous places to be. But we also have, furious Rob Arkley says that he's moving Security National Headquarters out of Eureka after clashing with the city staff about development priorities. And this is a follow-up to something that we covered, I think it was like a couple weeks ago. I actually asked the question because we'd heard about the secret meeting with Security National, and that there'd been some tension between Rob Arkley and City Manager Miles Slattery. And here we have it. Quote, "We have been totally mistreated," Arkley said in his email. "With 220 Eureka employees, 1,400 housing units planned for the city, I'm tired of Miles misspeaking or just misstating facts. We need somebody we can trust." Okay, well, that's what settled that one there. So we will move on to something else here. And this is on PBS, and this goes back to the Ferndale drag show story. So we'll just read the first little bit. So we talked to Kaylin Papa K. Riviera about the recent cancellation of the all-age drag show in Ferndale due to phobic threats received on social media. Shouldn't there be more outrage? So it kind of sounds, just from reading that open line, like whoever is doing this report, picked a definite side. Isn't really in it, in the middle, weighing both sides, anything like that. We'll take a watch and just see exactly to what extent that is.
Coming up on Headline Humboldt, we sit down with Kaylin Rivera from Lost Coast Pride to talk about a recent all-ages Ferndale drag show that was canceled after threatening comments were found on social media, raising concerns for participant safety. Also, the Humboldt County Board of Supervisors endorses Life Plan Humboldt, a project to improve the long-term fate and living conditions of local seniors. Coming up now on Headline Humboldt.
Headline Humboldt. Okay.
Top of Humboldt Hill, this is Headline Humboldt. I'm James Falk. Thanks for joining us. It seems strange to say, but there are times these days when I'm overwhelmed by the news of how American intolerance seems strengthened and pervasive in an era when such sentiments are clearly illogical, unproductive, and hate-driven. At a time when we as a species should be transcending such prejudice to pursue real social equality, we're actually regressing. It's gotten to the point that I no longer recognize my country, at least the country I was brought up to believe in. What can be done? Too often we pin much of our frustration at the state of things on some actor far removed, some public figure or radical agenda that doesn't really represent who or what we are as a society. But today's guest has a story to tell about intolerance in our own community, how an event meant for all ages and intended to strengthen the community was ultimately canceled because of threats received via social media, threats that couldn't be safely ignored given that violent rhetoric and hate-filled intolerance often precede real acts of horrific violence, as we've all learned. Are we as a community okay with this? Is it okay that a hateful few have veto power over what we're allowed to celebrate and who we're allowed to be? Can we be secure as individuals, or must we hide amid the herd to blunt the threat of bad actors? Joining us now is Kaylin Rivera, organizer of the drag show. So let's talk about the sequence of events. You guys were planning to have a drag show at the Old Steeple, which is a music venue in Ferndale, and there was a notice posted on the board of the St. Mark's Evangelical Lutheran Church, and that got posted to social media, and then other comments that were more threatening got posted, and it kind of snowballed. Is that right?
Yeah, so as I'm the executive director of Lost Coast Pride, and so we wanted to fundraise, and the Old Steeple kind of got a hold of us and said, hey, we got a venue here, let's use it, and we got everything just about to the point of being all set up and ready to announce, and then all of a sudden there was an announcement itself saying, you know, beware a drag show for kids coming to Ferndale. And, you know, the folks at the old steeple had taken a picture, they'd shown me, and I posted it up. Only after, well, I posted it up and then...
just a picture of yourself? Or?
No, a picture of the marquee, actually.
Okay,
I posted it up on Las Coast Pride social media.
Okay.
And later on that night, because, you know, Paul and Sherry at the old steeple had said, well, you know, we're just going to turn the other cheek and we're still going to do this. And then later on that night, I got a phone call or a text message saying, hey, we have to cancel the show. We're getting viable threats. You know, we have kids that do music lessons here, and parents are concerned, and so it kind of crushed me at that point, right? You know, because words, as pastors like that know, have an impact, right? And people were, you know, I didn't ever hear the threats or see them, but they were calling for the addresses of organizers.
Yeah.
Right. I am the organizer. So, it was really viable safety.
And you have a daughter?
Yes, I do. I have an older daughter. I have, about 7 grandkids.
Wow.
Right. So, thank you.
You know, help me people understand, like, seeing that kind of message on a public board, or you know, hearing that kind of whispering or that kind of hate, watching the social media campaigns, or even worse, the sort of broader political campaigns that are going on in places like Florida or you know, Texas, where these kinds of laws are beginning to gain traction. How does that impact somebody like yourself? I mean, how do you feel seeing that, and how what should people understand about its impact on folks?
Well, you know, I think that people don't understand that the impact it has on, you know, the queer community at large is that we're very aggressively trying to be stamped out, right? Like, people are really trying to make us go back into a closet that we're never going to go back into.
Sure.
As for me personally, you know, I transitioned 25 years ago in Reading, and it was ultra conservative then. It's still kind of conservative now.
La Malfa is
right. So when I came out, there was no information for me. There was nothing to see or look up, you know, and the internet was relatively new, and so finding information in rural towns is horrible. I mean, now it's social media is different, but back then, so the impact it had on me as far as being able to see stuff, hear things, have something tangible, helped me be the human that I am. And at that point when I came out, I was like, you know, I have to be the person I didn't have. And for me personally, yeah, I know there's potential of me being harmed, my vehicles or property being damaged, or at the very worst being killed for what I do. But that's never going to stop me. And as our LGBT community at large, it's never going to stop us either. The more that you do harm, the more that you kill trans women of color, the more you beat up, the more you call foul names, the more you try to make us go into this little box that you want us to be in, the more we're going to fight, the more we're going to unite.
Yeah. It's tragic that you have to have that level of courage, though, to just to go about your life and celebrate who you are.
Right.
And that's the weight that's on the rest of society, I think, to kind of try to make that better. I don't know how we do that. But, you know, have you ever spoken with the pastor, Tyrell Bramwell, right?
Tyrell Bramwell. No, I haven't. I refuse to, and a lot of it is because I myself personally was raised Baptist and Pentecostal, and I have a lot of religious trauma. I genetically have tested as male.
Yeah.
Right? So people forget science. They forget intersex people. How do you explain that? How do you say, oh, you're not allowed here when that's actually something that naturally happens?
Yeah.
Genetically, I'm male.
Yeah.
My body just decided to not go all the way. So, so I refuse to have a conversation with somebody who thumps his Bible at me.
Yeah.
And calls me the world's biggest sinner, when they're supposed to be picking that 2x4 out of their own eye, not the toothpick out of mine.
Yeah, and I mean, there was never any effort on his part to reach out to the community or discuss any of this. It's basically just one day he decided to let loose on his little signboard, and this has been the result. We had a story about that issue.
Or maybe it was a result of, Rivera was saying, just people not being willing to discuss it with him. Anyways, we'll get back to this in just a second. Going to take a small break here. Okay, we are back here, and going over that last video with the PBS guy and Rivera, the Lost Coast Pride founder or leader, whatnot. And they went over a lot of one side of the story, but they didn't really either, reach out or feel even the need to reach out to get the other side of the story. They just figured it's just all hate and intolerance, and that's all it is. But look here, this is just one of Tyrell Bramwell's. It's a still frame of one of his videos, but this has like some of the comments that he is in. Just like Rivera said that he had never seen any of the comments, but he'd heard of them. But Tyrell, he's heard them, he's seen them, and read through some of these. This Solar Bozo guy is the one that I thought his comment really stuck out. He says, "This guy is nothing but a bully. Run him out of town on a rail after tar and feather." That's pretty extreme right there. But yeah, and Tyrell's a cosplaying preacher. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a groomer. Happens a lot at the church. Just throwing those baseless accusations around, just because it happens a lot everywhere, as we've covered with other articles. It's not just one side or another that does, horrible things. But anyways, we're going to move on to another thing, but I just thought it'd be good to, listen to that PBS thing in its entirety, because it shows a lot of how they do just, go off the opinion of one side without even, discussing with the other side what their opinion is, or even trying to find out, what their motivations may be. And once again, you can go back to the Lost Coast Populist site here, and we did a in-depth interview with both the St. Mark's people and the Old Steeple. So that's where you can go if you really want to find out what the opinions and motivations on, or some of them anyways, on both sides. But moving on, here we've got, this is horrible. A boy viciously attacked by a mountain lion in San Mateo County. Okay, we got a little video we can play for that here. It's
Tony.
After this annoying advertisement.
Continues. We'll show you now the little boy. Here he is, 5-year-old Jack. He and his family were on a private trail off of Highway 1 when the attack happened. Jack got a little ahead of the rest of the group, and he walked right into 3 mountain lions, a mom and 2 younger cubs. That's when one of the younger cats attacked. The Bay Area Puma Project gave us this video telling us it shows the same family of mountain lions that Jack encountered. You can see those three right there. Jack does have some scratches and a broken bone near his eye.
His mom, Susie, was able to run up. The mountain lion still had a hold of Jack, and she was able to scare the animal off. I think they're very focused on Jack's recovery, just feeling really thankful that it could have been so much worse than it was.
It could have been much worse. Joining us now is Captain Pat.
That's totally true. I had 3 mountain lions, especially getting, in between or involved with the mother mountain lion and her young. That could have been way worse. And luckily, it didn't. But here we got, what else do we have here? Yes, this is something from the recent LCP article. This just goes over hate crimes, that like the realistic numbers and such, and our county and our state that's being used to justify some of this. I think like the proclamation that we saw from the Humboldt County Board of Supervisors. It was trying to kind of equate the hate speech, or what some people interpret as hate speech, as hate crimes, and just kind of confuse the two, even though they're two totally different definitions. But anyways, it's Tulsi Gabbard here, and she's talking about the real damage that some of these surgeries do to kids, and just how it's here, just take a listen for yourself.
According to a research paper that was recently published to the Journal of the American Medical Association Pediatrics, show that there has been a 389% increase in children receiving mastectomies from 2016 through 2019. I want to say that again. Children receiving mastectomies. The UCLA School of Law's Williams Institute published a study that found the number of transgender youth in America has doubled in just the past 5 years. And when you look at these statistics, you got to realize that this is not an accident. This didn't just happen. This is very intentional, and it's the consequence of this radical agenda that is being pushed on our kids. They're rejecting the existence of objective reality by rejecting this most fundamental truth of the differences between a biological male and female. Now, even as there are no long-term studies on the effects of these dangerous treatments on our kids, those in power in government and so-called medical professionals continue to push them. Many of the standard protocols that they are pushing include puberty blockers and hormones, some of which were just recently flagged by the FDA because of their plausible link to serious brain disorder, cognitive problems. Now, that hasn't stopped President Biden from going and telling parents that, quote, affirming your child's identity is one of the most powerful things you can do to keep them safe.
To parents of transgender children, affirming your child's identity is one of the most powerful things you can do to keep them safe and healthy.
According to
Yeah. So, like she was talking about the puberty blockers, I had something I remember reading during my time at HSU, and forget which psychology class it was, but it's some paper that I wrote, and it was talking about how in Europe, these same treatments that they use, these hormone treatments on kids, they're also used to chemically castrate sex offenders in Europe. And if that doesn't say something, I really don't know what does here. But we're going to move on to the local crime segment here. This is top yet. They got the blotter. 2,400 tabs of acid confiscated, along with weed and cash during a Hydesville traffic stop today. And this was Thursday, February 2nd. But yeah, look at that haul there. Oh. You even got all the artsy designs to it. Man. The driver of the vehicle, 26-year-old John Joseph Roche, was found to be on active probation. During a search of the Roche and his vehicle, pursuant to the terms of probation, deputies located approximately 2,400 tabs of LSD and approximately 9 pounds of processed cannabis. Roche was arrested and booked into the Humboldt County Correctional Facility on charges of possession and controlled substances for sales. Okay, man. That's too bad. Too bad. That's a lot of mind-altering substances that would have went into our community there. Too bad the people are out there doing that. I'm on to another one here. This is Humboldt Drug Task Force removes a 2-year-old child from a home, and they arrest a man for suspected fentanyl sales. And this is on Wednesday, February 1st, 2023, the Humboldt County Drug Task Force served a search warrant on Moon Lane in Humboldt for suspected narcotics. At the time of the search warrant, the service agent located 37-year-old Daryl Moon and a 2-year-old juvenile on the scene. During a search of the residence, agents located approximately 25 grams of suspected fentanyl and a digital scale, ammunition, body armor, and 2 firearms. Moon was subsequently arrested on the following charges: possession of controlled substance, possession of narcotics, felon in possession of body armor, felon in possession of firearms, and child endangerment. Which is really just too bad for that child, because it's hopefully there's some other extended family or something it can go to, because I know that going to the foster care system is just no bueno, no bueno. So this is another one over in Shasta County. Redding tattoo shop owner arrested again, this time for sexual assault of a minor and drugs. And go down here. Let's see. Yeah. Officers released Martinez at the scene and ultimately booked Stroud into the Shasta County Jail for sodomy of a minor, use of an underage person for obscene material, unlawful sex with a minor, furnishing a minor with controlled substances, oral copulation of a minor, possession of obscene material of a minor in a sexual manner, as well as being a felon in possession of firearm, felon in possession of ammunition, possession of controlled substances for sales, and possession of narcotics paraphernalia. But good they got that guy off the streets, because that is, no good what's going on there. We're going to move on to the local health segment. And we're going to start with this one here. It's, California won't require COVID vaccines to attend schools, which is great news because kids really don't need them, do they? I mean, the rates of children getting COVID who didn't already have like a serious health condition were like practically zero. Anyways, Friday, the Department of Health confirmed it was backing off its original plan. CDPH is not currently exploring emergency rulemaking to add COVID-19 to its list of required school vaccinations, but we continue to strongly recommend COVID-19 immunization for students and staff to keep everyone safer in the classroom, the department said in a statement. Any changes to required K-12 immunizations are properly addressed through the legislative process. Well, that's good that they're not going to be pushing that on the kids. But we're going to move on just a little bit here. This is eggs are so expensive. We'll do this one here, Californians are trying to bring them across the border from Mexico. With egg prices spiking in California, Border Patrol agents have noticed a rise in the number of people trying to bring eggs across the border from Mexico, which is illegal. Inflation and the bird flu have also pushed up egg prices in Mexico, but the cost of a dozen eggs south of the border is still much lower, up to half as low as we're seeing here. And we have this story also. Study shows dangerously high levels of toxins in fish from Northern California rivers. And we've got a video on this one here. see here.
In freshwater are testing dangerously high levels of toxic chemicals. That's according to a new study done by the Environmental Protection Agencies. Those rivers actually located here in Northern California. And here to dive deeper into some of the data is Dr. Wesley Smith, a toxicologist from the California Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let's start off with this for folks who are unfamiliar. What exactly is PFAS or PFAS, and why can they be detrimental to your health?
So PFAS are a large class of human-made chemicals that have been used widely for commercial and industrial purposes, such as firefighting foams at airports and military bases. People can be exposed in various ways through drinking water, foods, consumer products. And PFAS is a chemical within the class of PFASs, and it's one of the most studied chemicals. It's been shown to increase the risk of cancer at very low levels, and can harm a developing baby during pregnancy. It's no longer manufactured in the U.S., but people are still exposed, as this study explains, through fish.
Now, for our viewers at home, we're going to toss up a graphic. This is going to be the San Joaquin River. We're going to show that there are, as far as in the San Joaquin River, PFAS account for 11,400, and they're measuring at 16,490 for PFAS. And real quick, let's get to the Feather River. You'll see that it is measuring 865 PFOs and 865 PFAS. So what is considered a safe amount, if any, that we can find in our waters?
Well, the state of California, we don't currently have a level in fish to say what's safe and not safe. The levels in the rainbow trout from the Feather River are low relative to the other fish in the study, but the largemouth bass are a bit more concerning. We do currently have consumption advice for largemouth bass in the San Joaquin River, in that we recommend that women of childbearing age and children to not eat any largemouth bass, and then the rest of the population to eat only one serving a week. And that's due to mercury, so we have advice about other chemicals that should be protective against the PFAS also.
So if...
Yeah, I think it's definitely all about moderation. I mean, we've got stuff in the rivers, and you look at the ocean, and it's been since 2012 that I think Fukushima is still dumping radiation into the Pacific, so it's probably good to not, rely on either river fish or ocean fish, for that matter, is like your sole source of sustenance, or something that's even more than once a week or once a month, or something like that. Anyways, we're going to move on to woke local politics, and we've got, Supreme Court sides with California anti-abortion pregnancy censors. And we'll go down here. What do we got? Okay, let's just read from the top here. Yes, the U.S. Supreme Court has reversed a lower court decision upholding California law requiring anti-abortion crisis pregnancy centers to more fully disclose what they are. The case pitted the right to know against the right of free speech. On one side, self-identified crisis pregnancy centers that seek to prevent abortions, and on the other side is the state of California, which enacted a 2015 law to ensure that these centers do not intentionally or unintentionally mislead the women who walk through the doors. In a 5-4 ruling, the court said the centers are likely to succeed in their claim that the law violates the First Amendment. That overturns an earlier decision by the Ninth Circuit upholding the law and sends the case back for further consideration. Writing for the majority, Justice Clarence Thomas said that the law targets speakers, not speech, and imposes an unduly burdensome disclosure requirement that will chill their protected speech. Well, that sounds like it could be a win for a free speech type argument there, so that is good to hear out of the Supreme Court. And we also have California's single-payer healthcare bill that would cover all illegal aliens dies. And this was good because this one was pretty concerning as to the just how they were going to fund the whole thing. It was going to be like just another layer of tax on like homeowner tax, pretty much. Like how you have like your county tax. It would just be a state one that would really just like put a burden on people that are already struggling. Let's see here. We got California Governor Gavin Newsom last month proposed a budget that would give illegal aliens health coverage. California lawmakers were weighing doubling taxes to pay for a single-payer health care system that would cover all illegal aliens. In 2019, California extended health care coverage to illegals 26 and under, and in 2021, California began covering illegals over the age of 55. It says, this bill failed to pass Democrat-controlled legislature on Monday, so it is dead for now. Well, that is good to hear. And we're going to go to a little coverage here of the Old Grove Cellars show. It was like a Celtic music. Pretty nice, pleasant experience. You can go and check out the small write-up on it at the LCP site. But before we do that, close on that happy note, we're going to take a little peek at the LCP products advertisement.
Are you tired of the woke local media? One way you can support Lost Coast Populist is by purchasing our stylish clothing and accessories. Every purchase helps us keep fighting the good fight and leaves you as a beacon of the growing patriot ideology within our community.
Well, that was truly a beautiful song there. And that brings us to closing out the local section of the podcast. But we will be back at some point for the national and then the global sections. But anyways, talk to you later. Bye-bye.